I play this song because I feel like it exemplifies the place our world is coming to. Because today, the jury deliberates in the case Trump v. everyone else on the other side of politics. Guys, what's going on is insane. But first, I want to tell you guys, I don't work here. So do me a huge favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Tear me up in the comment section, guys. I get a lot of things wrong because I'm a big old dummy. But one thing I won't do to you is lie to you like mainstream media and everybody else. Please do yourself a favor. Follow independent journalists. I am not one of them. I am simply trying to learn and grow and have you all do that with me. Before I say anything else, I want to welcome you all to the podcast my girlfriend didn't want me to have. It's another white boy with a mic. This is the update you didn't ask for. My name's Beau Robinson, and today, guys, the Republic has fallen. But it's been falling for a long time. We're going down, 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 down because Trump's jury is officially going to deliberations. That's right, guys. Deliberations are starting today. The jury was dismissed after getting directions from the judge. And I think the most important thing about all of this was the fact that the jury does not have to agree on the secondary crime that Trump committed. Usually when you go to jury duty, each crime is listed and you have to read out whether they're guilty or innocent of each and every crime. So the jury has to come to a complete agreement, a unanimous decision on the crime that was committed. But this judge, for some reason, decided that they didn't have to agree at all on the secondary crime. They just had to agree on the first one, that Trump falsified business records to pay off Stormy Daniels, which is usually a misdemeanor. But the felony that's going to put him behind bars, they don't have to agree on. In fact, they can come back 4-4-4 and nobody cares. We're going to jump into it. Guys, I want to show you, first of all, this video from Donald Trump right before he went into the court today. I'll be honest, first time I've ever heard him sound kind of defeated. I'm not sure he thinks he can. I know, he doesn't think he can win. And I think all of us are kind of in the same boat, but we're on his side. Not sure where we go from here when they come back, but the jury is supposed to actually reach a deliberation at any point. I think they had till 4:30. It could go as late as 6, or they will figure it out tomorrow. With no further ado, your former President, Donald Trump.
Thank you very much. I would say, in listening to the charges from the judge, who's, as you know, very conflicted and corrupt, because of the confliction, very, very corrupt. Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. These charges are rigged. The whole thing is rigged. The whole country's a mess between the borders and fake elections, and you have a trial like this where the judge is so conflicted he can't breathe.
I think that was a note on the fact that the judge literally told a lawyer or basically evacuated the entire courtroom because one of Michael Cohen's former lawyers basically exonerated the president.
He's got to do his job, and it's not for me, that I can tell you. It's a disgrace. And I mean that. Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see. We'll see how we do. It's a very disgraceful situation. Every single legal scholar and expert said this is no case. It shouldn't be brought, and it certainly could have been brought 7 years ago, not in the middle of a presidential election.
Huge point here. Trump's nailing it, man. Every single time he gives one of these, everything just tends to be a lot more clear. They could have brought these charges 7 years ago. They chose not to. Why? Because Trump's running for president. Even CNN, Farad or whatever his name is, said that these charges would not be brought if it were not Donald Trump. I don't think these charges would be brought at all if he were not running for president.
It was all done by Joe Biden. This judge contributed to Joe Biden, and far worse than that, but I'm not allowed to talk about it because I have a gag order. Far worse than that, by 1,000 times worse than that. The worst I've ever heard, but I can't talk about it.
I wish Trump was like, nobody can gag me. Only I can gag me. I think that'd be funny.
It'll be talked about, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. But it'll be talked about in the history books.
Yeah.
What's happening here is weaponization at a level that nobody's seen before, ever. And it shouldn't be allowed to happen. So I'll stay around here. This is 5 weeks. and 5 weeks of really essentially not campaigning, although I took a big lead in the polls over the last few weeks. Something's going on. Because I think the people of this country see that this is a rigged deal. It's a weaponized deal for the Democrats to hit their political opponent. For Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States. He's destroying our country. He's letting millions of people from jails, from prisons, from insane asylums, from mental institutions, drug dealers pour in. Venezuela, if you look at their crime statistics, they've gone down 72% in crime because they're releasing all their criminals into our country because of this horrible president that we have. And then they have a protest of Robert De Niro yesterday. He's a fool. He's a broken down fool standing out there, and he got maggoted.
He got maggoted. That's right. Robert De Niro showed up yesterday to speak for Joe Biden for some reason. That's where everybody's been like, Joe Biden has nothing to do with this. But then he sends his cronies to go out there and speak for him to remind everybody that J6 was such a horrible day where people lost their lives and cops stood up against the mob. Then he got booed all the way out. He got trolled. It was hilarious. And in the same respect, I wish people just kind of let him talk and let him be his idiot. But there was a part at which he didn't even realize that the two people behind him lied on the witness stand. And he was like, who did that? These guys? Oh, I can't even talk to you. What a fool.
He got maggoted yesterday. He got a big dose of it. But I just want to say it's a very unfair trial. It should have never happened. If it was going to happen, it should have happened 7 years ago. As you know, Bragg didn't want to bring it. The Southern District didn't bring it. The FEC didn't bring it. This judge didn't even let us use the #1 election attorney. He's making the rules. He doesn't know anything about elections. He doesn't know anything about voting and vote counts. He doesn't know anything about this stuff. That's not his profession. We had the leading election expert in the country, Brad Smith, ready to testify. Wouldn't let him do it. They wouldn't let another gentleman who represented, and you know very well, you saw it. It was the worst I think I've ever seen anyone treated on the stand. Bob Costello, wouldn't let him talk about all of the hundreds of emails that he was sent by a gentleman, another gentleman, who I can't mention because I'm gagged. Every time I speak to you, you ask me simple questions. I'm not allowed to give you the answer because I'm gagged by this judge. But we have a very, very serious problem here. I mean, our country's going bad. And remember, and let me just leave you with this. This is all because of Joe Biden and I don't even think it's him. I don't think he's smart enough to think about it. But it's the people that surround him in the office. They're smart. They're fascists, they're communists, but they're smart. And they're ruining our country. But we're going to win this election. November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. We're going to take back our country from these fascists and these thugs that are destroying us with inflation and with everything they do, how stupid they are, allowing 15, 16, 17 million people into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. We're going to bring back our nation November 5th. Remember, most important day in the history of our country. In the meantime, this trial is rigged. Thank you.
And I think this is so funny because Donald Trump right there gave you 4.5 minutes of unfiltered conversation. He didn't stumble on his words. He's not reading from a teleprompter. But at the same time, you have Jill Biden on The View right now saying crap like this. I'm going to find it for you guys.
Well, Dr. Biden, the first presidential debate is less than a month away, and we've debated at this table. There have been people that have thought President Biden shouldn't even debate President Trump just due to the fact that Donald Trump will gaslight, he overtalks. Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's Donald Trump's fault is the reason we don't want Joe Biden to debate him, right? Yeah, not the fact that Joe Biden can't string 5 words together.
There are no guardrails. So,
he stalks.
Yeah, well, I happen to believe it's really important, more than ever, to have a debate with guardrails. What is the strategy that...
So, not a debate, right?
The president has going into this? Any tips you'd have for a debate that we could pull off where we could actually hear our candidates.
No, they've built that in where they're going to turn off those mics so that somebody can't ramble or scream at somebody. Not that my husband would be the one doing that. No. And so that's already been negotiated. And, I think the American people deserve a debate because you need to see your choices. You need to see Trump, and you need to see the president, and you need to see the differences. And my husband's, and you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has. And then you'll see somebody who, like you're saying, I'm going to use Joy's words, can't put a sentence together, and everything is beautiful. And
That's it. You just saw him put hundreds of sentences together in that 4.5 minutes to explain that the trial he's going through is a sham trial, and just about everything else. We don't have to recount the whole 4.5-minute speech, but she's sitting here claiming that Donald Trump can't put a sentence together while her own husband struggles to stand up and walk up and down flights of stairs. I just saw this. I'll play this for you guys because this looks like fun.
And we have to. Joe has done amazing things for this country, and we have to get the message out.
Yeah, amazing things like putting us in so much debt that the groceries have gone up dramatically. Gas has gone up dramatically. Where we can barely pay back the interest. The interest is so slowly climbing to $1 trillion. And we'll be paying that back every single day. Your children, my children, the children of our future will be indebted to the American system forever, guys, forever. I want to move on because what's more important is that this jury went into deliberation and we found out that the jury doesn't actually have to come to an agreement on what the actual crimes were, which goes against every single precedent that's ever existed in the entire American judicial system. Wow. And they're doing it, not some black guy in the street who committed a marijuana violation, not some Mexican who jumped across our border, not some white guy like me that committed fraud, They're doing it against the former president of the United States. A witch hunt, he called it. I remember in 2016, Donald Trump was like, witch hunt, it's a witch hunt. And I was just like, what the hell is this dude talking about? But then you see it over and over again. Them accuse him of Russia collusion, impeachment on impeachment, January 6th insurrection, 90-something felony charges, And all of them have fallen by the wayside. So this is the one they're clinging on to for dear life. Please, somebody convict this man so he cannot run for our presidency again and ruin our 2030 plan to take over the world. Yeah. It's crazy. I realized how much I've been gaslit. How many times does somebody have to be proven innocent before you jump on their side? A lot, apparently. And it'll be interesting if the jury comes back and doesn't convict him. But I wanted to read you guys. This is from Newsweek. Does Trump jury need to be unanimous? Juan Merchan's comment goes viral. Judge Juan Merchan's instruction to the jury in Donald Trump's hush money case raised eyebrows from the former president and his supporters on Wednesday. Jury deliberations began in the case on Wednesday, this morning, hump day, following weeks of testimony in the first prosecution of the former U.S. president. In this case, Manhattan's District Attorney Alvin Bragg accused Trump of falsifying business documents to cover up a hush money payment made to an adult film actress, Stormy Daniels, during the 2016 presidential campaign. 2016, guys. 2016. They could have brought these charges then. In fact, I think they tried. But it was a slew of other charges that they could never convict him of. And then he gets out of the White House. They could have brought these charges the first year, the second year, the third year. But then they bring it in just before the fourth year and try to pretend it's not election interference. That's right, guys. 2016. Bragg's office alleges that the payment was intended to prevent her from going public about her claims of having an affair with the former president. Well, she went ahead anyway, so somebody's out of money. I feel bad. Trump and the presumptive 2024 Republican presidential nominee has denied an affair with Daniels and pleaded not guilty to all 34 felony counts. He has also accused Bragg of targeting him for political purposes, equating the trial with election interference. Among Merchan's instructions to the jury was that for Trump to be convicted, all jurors must agree he falsified business documents to cover up a crime. However, they do not have to agree on what the crime he was trying to cover up was. What has happened to our country? Unanimous decision is what's required. a unanimous decision on the crime, not just what he was covering up, on each individual one. This sparked backlash from some conservatives, some of whom suggested Merchan. Is it Merkin or Merchan? He's a big piece of shit, but ruled the jury does not need to be unanimous. However, the jury does need to be unanimous in its verdict, or the trial would result in a hung jury. Trump blasted the instructions in a post to Truth Social Wednesday afternoon. It is ridiculous, unconstitutional, and un-American that the highly conflicted radical left judge is not requiring a unanimous decision on the fake charges against me brought by Soros-backed DA Alvin Bragg, a third world election interference hoax, he wrote. Yeah. A post to X, formerly Twitter. I hate how they do that now. Just call it X at this point. It's been a couple years, guys. Everybody knows it's X. From Fox News co-anchor John Roberts went viral across social media, in which he stated that Merchan told the jury they did not need to reach a unanimity to convict. 4 could agree on one crime, 4 on a different, and 4 on another. He said it would be the 4-4-4 treatment as a unanimous verdict. That will be written in the history books. A 4-4-4 treatment. Bookmark this. That's going to be in the history books, guys. I tell you what. Roberts later clarified all 12 need unanimity. That's such a hard word to say, that Trump committed a crime, but the underlying unlawful means is a smorgasbord from which they can pick from, and they don't need to all agree. That's not how this system works. I remember when Kyle Rittenhouse was being charged, it was the murder of this guy, assault with a deadly weapon with this guy. Each charge had to be a unanimous decision. He was found not guilty on all of them. We are living in a banana republic, third world country where the rule of law has been subverted by one side. And Trump's famous words, they are not coming for you, or they're not coming for me, they are coming for you. I am just in the way. Well, this is them trying to remove him. Fascinating. It's almost working. I don't know if Trump's going to go to jail. Please tell me in the comments if you guys think Trump is going to go to jail. I hope he doesn't. I'm afraid they'll Jeffrey Epstein him. All of a sudden, Secret Service goes missing. The guards at the door fall asleep. All of a sudden, we hear Trump's hung himself because his crimes were just so bad. And everybody knows, that's not true. That's my biggest fear. A lot of people say he won't see the inside of a cell, that he'll get an ankle bracelet, have to go home and have to basically do his time under house arrest. I don't know. But I wanted to share with you this. This is from Fox News. This gentleman right here gives you the breakdown of what Merchan said, so you're not just hearing it from my mouth.
Well, let me ask you about the 3 choices. And one thing in particular that this...
Crap, this is going to give me a copyright issue, but I do think you guys need to see this. You know what? I can't get a copyright issue. I'll probably get one anyways because I just played the 2 seconds of it. I want to just read what Kyle Becker said. Kyle Becker, guys, great journalist on X. If you guys aren't following him, follow him immediately. Feel free to subscribe. Breaking. Judge Merchan has instructed the jury they do not need to have a unanimous verdict in order to convict former President Donald Trump of a crime. One thing in particular that the judge said the jurors could do, he delivered what is being called really the pinnacle of all of this. There is no need to agree on what has occurred. They can disagree on what the crime was among the 3 choices. This means they could do a 4-4-4 split, and the judge would still treat them unanimously. What does that mean? Outrageous. In a normal criminal case, every statutory crime has what we call elements of the offense. Like in a bank robbery case, you have to rob. It has to be a financial institution. You have to show intent, said former prosecutor Andrew McCarthy. Those are the things the jury has to agree on unanimously, that they were proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Here, what we are doing is taking the element of that actually makes this a felony. Because remember, falsification of records is normally a misdemeanor in New York. What makes it a felony is that you are concealing or committing another crime. Now, there is no proof throughout this case that Donald Trump knew that Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels. Michael Cohen, a convicted perjurer, is on the stand and then claims he robbed Trump for $60,000. Expunge that from the record, though. Don't try this guy for the crimes he just admitted to on the stand. And then claims that Trump paid him. It just seems like they've got this guy by the balls, and they will do whatever they can to make sure. And he doesn't sound like a very smart guy either. Probably the slimiest and worst lawyer you could have ever imagined. Steals from Trump, pays off Stormy Daniels to make this thing go away, bills Trump for services rendered, and then tells everybody Trump forced him to do it. Sounds like somebody's had a backdoor deal with this guy. They shook hands, said, you won't see the light of day in a jail cell if you do this for us. And here the judge is telling them they don't have to agree about what the other crime is under circumstances where that not only is what makes this a felony, makes it a 4-year potential prison penalty rather than a year or less, but it is also what gets us into the courtroom. So yeah, this would have been settled out of the courtroom, a little misdemeanor charge. Sign here, sign the dotted line. You won't do it again. Talk to you later. But now the jury doesn't have to agree on what the crime was that upgraded this to a felony. Alvin Bragg never told us what the other felony was. Well, it turns out he didn't have to. That's shocking to me. It should be shocking to all of you. If this had been a misdemeanor, the time to bring this case would have lapsed in 2019. The only reason they are still able to bring this case is because it's a felony, allegedly, right? And yet now the judge is saying, you don't have to agree on what a felony is. The jury has now gone to deliberations. Guys, I don't consider myself a real good, godly guy. I do consider myself a Christian. I'm a really bad Christian. But put your hands together and pray for the former president of the United States. Pray for our country. Pray for these jurors. These jurors are being threatened if they don't come to the right decision, that they may be persecuted. They may be sought out. Very scary. Scary stuff we're in right now. And what amazes me is the amount of people that have no idea the repercussions of this. The repercussions of this is now New York can charge anybody for anything and then tell the jury they don't have to find the crime. They can just assume it exists. And they don't have to agree on it either. They can just all disagree on what that crime is, and they will still charge you, put you in jail, and never let you out. Greg Price does a great job. If you guys aren't following Greg Price on X, subscribe to him, check him out, shoot him a follow. He gives a quick recap of the Juan Merck and Alvin Bragg show in New York City, which is just spot on. So I wanted to share this with you. A Soros-funded DA elevated a misdemeanor to a felony despite lowering 60% of all felonies for actual criminals in his jurisdiction. People are punching women in the face in New York City, and they got let back out on the street to do it again. Women are crying on social media, I got punched in the face. I don't know why. Because you're voting for this crap. Because you're voting for people to allow criminals to walk the street, let out on bail reform or whatever it is they want to call it, to commit more crimes. There was something that happened here in LA over the weekend, the Memorial Day weekend. An actor that had been on General Hospital for over 100 episodes got shot asking people if they wanted help while they were under a car. Well, what he didn't know is the people that were under the car were stealing a Cadillac converter. They were committing a crime. And instead of just saying, nah, man, we're good, he pulled out a gun and shot this guy and killed him. And his wife gets on social media and goes, you got the wrong guy. Why would you shoot him? He was so important to me. Like they care. Like they're going to see the video. What they cared about is they got their Cadillac converter and they got money out of it. You think people that commit these crimes give a crap about you or the person they hurt? No, they don't. And she will probably go on to vote for another shitty politician, crappy, I don't know, left or right, obviously corrupted beyond belief. She will vote them in gladly, never fixing the actual problem, because she thinks if she votes in the wrong guy, she's probably some sort of racist or bigot trying to hurt minorities, somebody else's expense. Absolutely tragic to hear about this. But the response to me didn't even seem sincere. Why would you cry and put it on social media? I have never once thought that the worst moment in my life I would broadcast on social media. When my twin brother died, I didn't broadcast that. Why? I remember my first birthday back, I wanted to do a little montage of Evan because he was my twin brother. I wasn't a fun birthday to have. I had a little montage, pictures of us, and I was a little bit sad. But I can't imagine Evan dying and then being like, you got the wrong person. I just think like, I'm going to keep that to myself. We all grieve in different ways, I guess. How dare me judge her for doing that? But it just disgusted me because I know she's going to go on and put the people in power that allowed somebody to do that to her boyfriend / husband. Not sure what the relationship was. But so this guy, Alvin Bragg, isn't arresting. In fact, letting go 60% of all felonies. But he's pursuing Donald Trump. Makes you wonder, right? Is this an accident or is it all on purpose? The lead prosecutor resigned his position as the third largest ranking member of Biden's DOJ to join Alvin Bragg's team going after Trump. I thought Biden had nothing to do with it. The judge donated to Joe Biden and has a daughter who raised millions of dollars for Democrats off the Trump prosecutions. The other lead prosecutor also donated to Joe Biden. Conflict of interest? What are we going to find out now? The entire jury donated to Joe Biden? Come on. The lead witness that the whole case relies on is a convicted perjurer. They're talking about Michael Cohen, and a serial liar who admitted during the trial to stealing money from the Trump organization. The judge put a gag order on Donald Trump for pointing out the political conflicts of interest of the people prosecuting him. Because how dare Donald Trump announce to people that all these people are corrupt and biased, while the judge is like telling the jury, you guys must make a decision. It has to be unbiased. Yet his total prosecution, along with the prosecutor, is biased. The crime relies on the idea that Trump paid off Stormy Daniels to conceal another crime, which is not mentioned in the indictment. Not even mentioned. I told you guys that earlier. Alvin Bragg's like, we don't know what it is. We're going to find out at the end when the jury gets together, deliberates, and decides on 3 different ones. The judge barred Trump's defense from explaining to the jury that no campaign finance violation occurred, but allowed prosecutors to assert as fact in their closing that there was. So if you guys don't know what that means, basically in the closing arguments that happened earlier this week, the judge let the prosecutors talk. But then when the defense came up to defend Donald Trump, they go, nope, objection, wipe that from the board. Don't consider that, jury. Sit down. Sit down and shut up is what he said. I'm sick and tired of hearing defense for Donald Trump. The judge cleared out the courtroom when Michael Cohen's former attorney was exonerating Trump, but allowed the prosecution to bring in Stormy Daniels to talk about whether or not Trump used a condom. That's right. Stormy Daniels' entire time on the witness stand was a recount of their sexual experience, not about who paid her or how that guy paid her or where he got the money from. But, what I experienced wasn't fun. He didn't use a condom. Yada this. He had me slap him with a Hustler magazine, something like that. The judge barred a former FEC commissioner from testifying that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. The judge is allowing the jury to not have to reach a unanimous verdict on the underlying unnamed crime that Trump committed. Then he said, what did I miss? I don't know, Greg. Pretty spot on. Let's see if Red Wave said, the most recent revelation is the most shocking. Judge Merchant is changing the rule of law right in front of your eyes just to get Trump convicted. Follow if you agree. I'm gonna like that comment. He's right. Never in the history of this country have we said the jury doesn't have to come to a unanimous decision. It is shocking. It's scary. Let's say you're on the side of common sense, because that's all this is. Let's say you're on the side of America. Trump gets convicted, put behind bars, doesn't win the November 5th, which you all better vote for, the November 5th, 2024 election. What's your next move? Not sure if you can stay in this country much longer because, While we fund foreign wars to the tune of billions and trillions of dollars, your currency is being devalued. People can't afford groceries, gas to live anymore. What's your next move? And then when you try to move out, they stop you at the border. They pull up your social media and say, "Did you share this post? This one right here?" And you go, "I don't know. I might have. I mean, I thought it was a little unfair what they were doing." They go, "A little unfair? How dare you? Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest." For what? For speaking out. For going against the grain. For talking bad about the Uniparty. I hope you have fun rotting in jail because your court case is in New York, but I'm at the border of Arizona and Mexico. We don't care. Slams the door on the cop car. Yep. Scary times we are in. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are prepared. And I hope you're ready to flood the voting booths on November 5th. That's what I'm hoping for. I like to say that, even though all this is really scary, we live in the most exciting time to be alive. A place where we can get information instantaneously so you can make your next move as fast as possible. Ah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. What did I want to show here? I think there was one more thing I wanted to show. Maybe I looked that up. Let's check back. Robert De Niro, what a joke. Man, I had so much respect for that guy, and he completely shit the bed. Guys, that's all I got for you today. Until deliberations, let's see if there's any breaking news, actually. While we're here, I want to see. Oh, make that smaller. Don't do that. Let's go to home. Let's see. So juries asked for clarification of all of them already decided to convict Trump for political reasons. There's a holdout. Do juries ask for clarifications if all of them already decide to convict Trump? Here's the holdout. What? Let's see if explore. Let's see if we've got any updates. Why I chime? Oh no, nobody gives a shit. Mother Teresa, Naomi, Merchant. Let's see. Merchant has jury reached a deliberation. This is insane. The New York Judge Merchant. Nope, that's the video I showed you earlier. Attorney CNN can't believe how Judge Merchant handled the instructions. The jury must be overwhelmed to have all of the instruction read to them without them getting a copy. Yes. Because the judge was telling people, oh, strike this. You can use that. Strike that. Absolute insanity. Let's see what we can read from Alina Habba. This is Trump's attorney real quick. Alina Habba, Judge Merchant has somehow randomly had Steve Bannon's case and Alan Weisselberg's case. Somehow he randomly also gets Donald Trump. That's not the way the system works. You assign a case randomly. But in New America, under the Biden regime, we are sitting here in a politicization of our judicial system. Yeah, so apparently this guy locked all these guys up. Man. I just want you guys to look at him. That's the face of utter evil. You guys have all seen the books. Evil usually comes with two horns and a red face. That's not what evil is. Hell, the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. These people might be thinking they're doing a good thing. Evil. I don't see any new news, guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It has been an honor to sit here and talk about this trial with you. I hope I didn't miss anything. Again, leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you next time.